In your mind, if you each could give me one step that you think is like a good first step, because I know it could be very overwhelming for someone coming in from overseas. And sometimes, like yesterday, someone walked up to me and was like, hey, I know you invest in Africa and all these countries. Like, can I do that from overseas? Do I have to go to the country to do it? Can you guys give us some, actionable steps that we can take to invest in another country?
The first thing is patience. Some people get to the continent and they expect everything to be fast-tracked. I think that's the first step. And then the second thing is to get yourself in line with an amazing legal firm on ground. There's specific legal firms that basically make sure that all your due diligence is checked. And then there's also a consultancy company called Gate Africa that would literally help you navigate how to get onto any country in the continent as well. So that's one of the 3 things you can check out.
I love that. Would you guys add anything?
I agree with the patience, because it's been me and Alvin, we've had this relationship now for like close to 10 years where we've been kind of just figuring things out and having to take deep breaths. But I would say spiritually, we are all that we have, right? And I think that when people are thinking about investing and they're thinking about going home, we all want to have this sense of belonging. And we all know that right now we've been on captured land. And when you go home, you realize that actually your ancestors' bones have been mineralized in that land since the beginning of time. And it's a different energy. So when you get there, you just, I want to buy land, I want to do this, and people make mistakes, right? Do your due diligence and make sure that you don't make as many mistakes, but you're gonna make mistakes. That's how you learn, but what else is there? Because a lot of people are trying their best to get wealthy with European, Indian, Chinese business partners, but why not get wealthy with African business partners? Because the Europeans, the Chinese, and Indians are in Africa getting money, so y'all should be getting money too.
Yeah, we can clap that up.
Specifically talking about Ghana, we've got the Ghana Investment Promotion Council, GIPC, and their main focus is to help people coming from the diaspora to invest in Ghana. They have a very comprehensive website. Ghana has a lot of internet penetration and availability, so do your research. Go on Google, just basically type in investing in Ghana. There's a bunch of resources that will come up. There's the American Chamber of Commerce, so they provide quite a lot of resources, material. So I'd suggest, as you would investing in any other business, any other place, do your research, check, double check. Ghana is an English-speaking country, so all the information is there, it's at your fingertips. Just check, is what we'll say.
I think like, because of how America's real estate, for instance, is set up, people think you're gonna come and within 3 to 6 months you'll purchase the land and you're done. And like a quick story I'll share with you is I remember the first property I bought in Ghana was through a real estate auction, and it went really quickly because the government was involved, so it was just 1, 2, 3. So I was like, oh, this is so bloody easy. And then the second one took 2 years for me to get the title and everything to my name. And I had to go through 3 attorneys to get everything transferred to my name. So definitely keep in mind that depending on the process, if it's someone who passed away and the person might be living in America or in the UK, just getting the title from overseas back into Africa. I will tell you this, in certain countries in Africa, I won't name anyone in particular, when it comes time for the vacation, like the holiday season, when you have to go even get something notarized by someone in office, they're not at work. You have to go to like the bush to go to their house sometimes to get something notarized. It's not like a 9 to 5, well, Monday through Friday, come to the office and we're there. So, different countries have different rules of engagement, keep that in mind. So, Chaka, I wanna come to you, right? So a lot of us know you as this social media influencer, celebrity type personality who's a jet setter, and you're doing a lot to give back. You mentioned Congo. I would like you to talk about the philanthropy that you do there, because sometimes when we talk about investing in other countries, we think about the give back. We forget about the give back, right? And I think you're doing a lot to give back in Congo. Can you talk about that initiative? And do you also invest? I know you mentioned it, but is that an investment for you?
We started IHA Africa in 2016. Years ago when I was in the military, for my sins. I used to be a boxer. I put on some events where we were fighting. We raised a bunch of money. We refurbished a hospital in Kinshasa. And then since then, we've been caring and putting children through school in one of the slums there. And the reason why we started IHA Africa was because I was Googling the richest country in the world in minerals, and Congo came up. And then I was Googling the poorest country in the world, and Congo came up. And I was like, how is the richest country in the world the poorest country in the world, right? All of these places that have, you know, Ebola and now monkeypox and West Nile virus and all these things, they also have all the minerals. It's not a coincidence. And so we have been now caring for orphan children since 2016, putting them through school, feeding them, clothing them, helping to raise them, because I believe that if we believe in God, I hope everybody believes in God. If we believe in God, then all of God's children are our children, so we should care for them. And as much as we take, we should also give. And so, for me, it's the truth. That's how you avoid the spiritual battle. If you give as much as you take, you'll find the balance. If you take more than you give, I don't know, you might end up being an alcoholic. I don't want to say any names, but you know. And so we made sure that we were caring for as many children as possible, because children are the future. And sometimes it's easier to start with children who are a blank slate than to try and fix broken adults. So we built a village in Congo now, and we care for around 200 people. We built 24 homes so far, and we are making it completely sustainable, because Africa does not need aid, Africa needs trade, right? If Africa's included properly in the trade, economic thing that's going on in the world, then they won't need anybody coming in from the West. And let's be honest, people want dignity. They don't want to beg, they don't want to ask for handouts. So we're working in an area called Minova, now we're working in Goma. I'm actually going to go to Congo in a couple weeks and go back and be with the children. But now, where we are with the village is villaging. I go there, the kids are fed, they're clothed, they're looked after, they're being educated, there's businesses going on there, and I just go there and sit and hang out, and it's getting to be that stage, and that's what we always wanted. So if you want to follow IHA Africa, go follow IHA Africa, look at the work that we're doing in Congo, because all of Africa is all of ours, you know?
Responsibilities to the local community is very...
Wait, can you tell people what is CSR?
Corporate social responsibility. So the idea is 5% of all profits generated across our entire group always goes back into the local community. So obviously in Africa, culture is very important. You've got a lot of different tribes, a lot of different people, all with their own little nuances and different cultures. So we took the decision early, regardless of what industry we're in, always give back to the local community. So we always build outreach programs, we build schools, hospitals, we give back wherever we can, and that's top priority for us as well.
Alvin, would you like to add anything?
Yes, we're also part of a travel concierge company called En Route 54, and it's basically impacting Africa through travel. So whenever people book trips with us, part of your package is actually to go into the community and help people, and also to build and educate the people as well. So like Chaka said, you can't just take, you always have to give. And once we're able to balance that out, we're able to at least make sure that we're also expanding our people. I have a saying that I always say, I'm like, we're here to break generational curses and pass down generational purpose. That's literally what we're trying to do, and we're gonna make sure that that happens regardless of whatever it is that we're up against.
So one of the things I'll put out there is, I remember a few years back going to Ghana, and I went to this orphanage and they didn't have running hot water, and they didn't have 4 walls. It was something so simple, right? And some of the times we think it's this expensive project, but we were able to go and build 4 walls for the kids, make sure they had hot running water so that they had that option. But this is something that we could do around the whole continent, right? You know, in another country, we were able to build a whole hospital for $20,000. A whole hospital for $20,000. How many times have you spent that kind of money on something, right? So think about the impact that you can do on you can build a whole hospital for someone in a whole other country. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? So, Chaka, can you give us some actionable things that you've done when it was the legal aspects of being an expat, now being in the Congo and other African countries, and any of the legal documents that people should think about when they're going to come invest over there?
Get your passport. Okay, I see what's going on in this country over here right now, and it's not all good for all black people. I say get your passport, so at least as things are changing, you have another home to go to, because everybody wants to have a home to go to. And Ghana has been doing dual citizenship like effectively since the year of return. It's a fairly simple process. You can get another passport and you'll be able to vote, you'll be able to open a bank account, you'll be able to start a business, and you'll be able to be part of the legal process in Ghana. So you won't just be saying it's my home, it'll be your actual home. So I would say get your passport. Mine is on the way. Everybody should also have theirs on the way, so then you have options. Because I really feel like what we see right now in the USA, I think the USA is now $34 trillion in debt, $35 trillion. I don't shoot the messenger. Did you get the message? $35 trillion in debt. So people say that Africa is corrupt, but is the US really managing its economy well when it's $35 trillion in debt? So much war has been done, all of these things. It's like, is it the best place in the world? Maybe not. Ghana's 61 billion in debt, that's 30 million people. The USA is 400 million people, but let's say 40 million black people. We know there's way more black people than 40 million people in in North America. Ali was saying that back in the 70s, right? So I would say get your passport and become part of the legal process, because as people say that Africa is corrupt and people are going to steal your money and all of these things, it's like, well, if you're $70, $80, $100,000 in debt to a country that, you know, isn't paying off its debts in the rest of the world, at least you can go into Africa and like get physical gold where you know that that is a tangible thing. Whereas here it's like, it's all ones and zeros. And we saw during the lockdown period how they started making everything, you know, digital, and there was no physical cash, and they were trying to stop that whole thing. So I would say be part of the legal process, and the most important thing I would say is get your passport, because it's your home too, you know, it really is.
Would you guys